Today's episode of the Cantina is brought to you by Grow Generation. Whether you're at the Death Star or the Senate, they have everything you need to grow right where you are. More from them later in the episode.
Welcome to a galaxy far, far away. Here at the Cantina Podcast, we provide top shelf service, including rumors, leaks, news, and reviews. Come in, order a Loman Ale, and remember, no droids allowed. I'm just trying to increase the budget value, man. Production value. Budget value. It's production value. Yeah. Anyways, thank you to I guess Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, because we went with the little green guy last time. This is the Cantina, and it is a Star Wars show on the LRM Online YouTube channel and the Genreverse Podcast Network, brought to you by LRMonline.com. And as we mentioned earlier in the intro, it's brought to you by Grow Generation. I am Kyle Malone. I've been here since the beginning. My God, Cam, this was a written article a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to read it.
Yeah, and then I got
was
lazy.
it on a Friday you did it?
Yep, it was.
It was a Friday, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was, and it started in 18, I think, and then in 19 we started doing the Cantina reviews podcast, the Last Call podcast, just doing the Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
leading up
to, and it was a lead up to, obviously, that we had it planned so we would get to the Rise of Skywalker. All that build up, no payoff.
Well, there was payoff. It wasn't necessarily the one that you wanted.
In terms of how we all trashed it to bits for several hours, but yeah.
Several. So that, dude, I don't know, but well, of course you know, because I told you, but we're doing the a 24-hour stream of the Cantina review starting today at 5 if you're watching here on Friday, and I'm gonna
put it on and watch it continuously for 30 odd hours.
It is 27.8 hours, I think, and that's without me putting in the little
so you could watch
in between
every Star Wars film probably twice within that space of time.
Probably. Yeah, I'm excited though.
Discussing it, you should do it both at the same time.
Ooh, now I have thought, and it's one of those things that you'd have to do behind a paywall or through like a private stream, like just like a Zoom meeting, to do like a group watch type review. But that's kind of a difficult thing to do here on like a regular podcast or whatnot.
Yeah.
But so I hope everyone will drop by. Everyone that is part of the website took part of the podcast, had a lot of fun doing it. Some of us will drop into the comments section, the live comments section, if you will, to chat with people that might have questions about points, or want to debate us, and in addition to doing that in the live chat or in the comment section, definitely there'll be social media information. You can see some of that down below. Drop us a line, hit us up, tell us what you think, and how wrong people are that the episode 3 lightsaber quote unquote duels are good, and how right Cam and I are in how bad all the military stuff in episode 8 is.
Or you could just disagree with us completely as well.
Yeah, but that would then make me question your intelligence. I'm joking. I'm terrible. Cam, it's been a interesting week in Star Wars news. Our navigator Shockey is finishing up some work stuff. He's back at work in the education system, and so he will hopefully be ripped from hyperspace by the interdictor cruiser that we've got set up to wrap him into this. But Give us a couple of things that happened besides the Visions trailer, because I do want to try to give Mike a chance to get here to talk a bit about that.
I mean, we could. There's a couple of things that we could start with. I don't know if we want to wait for Mike before we got on to the kind of the news that Obi-Wan wrapped. Although it's not a major thing, is it? So but we obviously over the weekend there was some news that had come out that various different people had wrapped on Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
So we asked a few questions in response to that, and on Monday we ran a piece saying that Obi-Wan Kenobi had actually wrapped production completely, which is what we had found out at that point. So it seemed obvious in hindsight, but you just never know if it was certain people that had left the production at that point, and people were kind of anticipating it would end soon. But yeah, that's wrapped now. So I think that there was a lot of people quite surprised by how quick it all did wrap up in the end. But I think you have to remember
it's been in
because they're using the volume, and as opposed to say, and people say, but Andor started before it and it's still going.
They're filming
two
key
seasons.
Differences.
Well, apparently season 1 is going to be 12 episodes of Andor. That's the current,
wow,
kind of buzz that's round there, right?
Even
it's
at 30 minutes each, that's still 6 1 hour and quote-unquote episodes. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and that they are obviously shooting pretty much all on location. They're not really using the volume for Andor as well, and that's what happens. It takes far longer when you have to do that. I mean, based on what Shockey has spoke about on this particular show before, actually Obi-Wan they anticipated finishing even quicker, didn't they? Because they were a little bit behind, he had said, and kind of rushing to catch up, if you like. So, but actually it could have been finished a couple of weeks ago had there not been any delays. Yeah,
definitely. And we had discussed on this show before earlier. It's so weird. I'm like looking at the monitor to make sure audio and the main recording stuff is going. I'm looking at my mirrorless, and then I'm trying to look in the web streaming anyways. We kind of talked a bit about how we knew that it was filming, that there was rumors that they were doing a lot of modular filming with the volume. So you would have and not just the volume, but even on location shots. So you would have Andor and say Mando, or Obi-Wan and Andor, or Obi-Wan and Mando, crews and cast and volume time and physical set time. And you could just, bravo to Lucasfilm and Disney, and not just them, but bravo to every crew and cast member and electrician and mover and truck driver, because dude, that's some logistics to pull this off, like you said, to be behind and finish like you do.
And then they're just moving basically straight into Mando season 3. So another bit of news we heard this week was that Kyle Weathers? Who the hell is he?
Kyle
Weathers.
Carl.
Kyle
Malone, Carl Malone, Carl Weathers. Anyway, I got it. It happens.
He did a recent kind of appearance at Steel City Con, and he was talking about the Mandalorian, and he loves it, people love it. And it was quite funny. He was talking about kind of how his character came to be, and at first they kind of wanted him to just be this small part in a mask, and he was talking about, I mean, really, that's kind of wasty. What do you bring Carl Weathers in for that for, and then shove him in a mask? And he says, as time go on, Jon Favreau kind of warmed to his position, and he said, so we actually want you to stay around a little bit longer now, and you won't be wearing a mask anymore. And the kind of role just grew from that, and he's certainly one of my favourites in the show, because he had a kind of believable. His turn in season 1 was a little bit okay, but I really enjoyed him in season 2. I kind of like the character he is now, if you like.
I do.
So it was kind of fun. But anyway, he finished it up by saying, basically Mandalorian is coming back. We start shooting within a month, and Grief Karga will be back So he'll be back in front of the camera and behind it as well, because he confirmed he's going to be directing an episode again, which he obviously is. Probably everyone knows he directed one in season 2 as well. And I thought it was good. We both thought, when we reviewed it was a good episode that he directed. So
he did the one he was in where they do the big cliff fall and stuff, right? Yep. It was interesting.
It was
because
one of the funnier episodes.
It fits his 80s/90s kind of style, his flair, if you will, or maybe you should say 70s, 80s, but it fit him. And I was if you remember in season 1, he kind of rubbed me the wrong way at first, but in season 2 it definitely eased into it. It took me a moment to kind of get that corniness of it. Yeah,
just a little bit. Great, but I think the character, the non-antagonistic character, suits him far better in this show. The body that Mando's got that he can go back to. And
he's not necessarily a
good guy, but he's a fair pirate, if you like. It's a bit Han Solo-ish, almost in some respects. He doesn't quite have, I don't think, of the honour.
The one thing
that Mando has, but he's improved as a result of Mando's influence, shall we say. That's probably the best way to look at it.
Yeah, well, he says that, and I also think season 1 had some maybe rushed production issues and things like that. Even though they didn't necessarily have to rush, just some pacing. If you remember, there was some pacing.
I mean,
issues
in the middle. When actually we could have done with seeing, in hindsight now in the middle, some of why he started to change his mind on things back at his place might have actually worked. But I know season 1 was all focused on Mando, the kid, and it was really where they went. But some of those middle chapters, as we've reviewed, just didn't really hit a home run. Whereas he didn't really have that in season 2. So he came and he went, but he feels that kind of character that you go, cool, Grief Karga's back this episode now, so it's going to be a good one, and that's the way I feel about his character now. I've definitely warmed up to him. And I think the episode he directed was key to that. And you have to remember, he isn't writing that, it's not as if he's saying, let's give Grief Karga a really big part here. He was directing it, but the way he played it as well, I just thought that was the best he's been. He was funny, he was, do you know what I mean? It just worked, and that was the episode that kind of made me, I suppose, fall in love with the character a little bit more, which you have to do to enjoy these things.
Yeah, we had talked again, going back to that whole idea of they've been kind of modular with the Star Wars filming, using locations in the volume and cast and crew very, very, very effectively and efficiently. I've really enjoyed that because it shows a dedication to getting the content made, which Disney wants it for their bottom line, but we get to benefit from it. But it also shows that we were right about some of those rumors when we said, hey, we're hearing the same about that modular filming, about, hey, did you guys know Kenobi had Andor people at their on-set location? What? Yeah, like it's cool, man. It's so compartmentalized. It reminds me of like military operations. I dig it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're having to pump out a lot more stories now, with the advent of what they're doing on Disney Plus. There's a lot more sort of plate spinning going on, and in that way they're emulating Marvel Studios. They're kind of neighbours, if you like, in terms of it. Feige's sort of the one in charge, but he's got a million plates spinning, and all this whole team kind of help him do that job. And while there's somebody keeping an eye on it all, it's very much they do their own thing. Each thing is its own thing as long as it all connects in the long run.
Hey, looky there. It worked. The trap worked. He's been caught.
I was having technical difficulties with the hyperdrive getting on here, so.
Yeah, we're made a joke about setting up an interdictor cruiser, which are those canon? Have those been used in any of the cartoons?
Haven't been used. I mean, only that thing that the only kind of hyperdrive thing that they've used really was the whole Last Jedi slow chase thing that they went for. But
garbage.
No, they haven't used
garbage.
An interdict. I mean, that could have actually made it slightly more fun if they had an interdictor and they stopped them going into hyperspace. Do you know what I mean? And that's why they had to run away. That would have worked.
That would have been. That would have been the ultimate thing, because like you and I have said, Cam, and you guys can hear this conversation in real depth on that 24-hour stream that's starting up on Friday. If they had done the 33 storyline like Battlestar, where they're constantly jumping, forget the fuel line,
exciting,
and have them constantly being tracked and jumping every certain amount of time,
more.
Right, and
resources each time,
Right, and at the end of it, the big climatic thing would have been an interdictor. They get pulled out early, or they arrive at their jump point, and right as they're trying to go to the next jump point, that interdictor's there. Those wells turn on. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
These things just didn't happen.
Welcome, Shockey. Yeah, you're right, Cam. Welcome, Shockey, man, to the Cantina. Everyone, our fearless navigator. We were just talking about the fact that Obi-Wan is wrapped, at least principal, right?
Yeah. So like the main shooting, they're still going to do some reshoots scheduled.
There's always reshoots.
Yeah, there's always
How they were doing WandaVision and the Falcon and Winter Soldier up into the weeks
there's
of
some
their
Spider-Man
finales.
Way Home reshoots happening right now as well.
Yeah. But Book of Boba Fett has been doing some reshoots as well on the weekends, using the volume. So it's been a busy, Lucasfilm and the volume has been very busy with the schedule and stuff. So they've wrapped up everything. They're working right now to start Mando season 3. From what I've heard, August 23rd is kind of the first start of filming. I'm not sure if the full cast will be there or not.
I know we were just talking earlier on about Weather said he starts within the next month, so sometime in the next 3 to 4 weeks probably.
They've been doing so they're on basically on hyperdrive schedule. So on the weekends they've been doing kind of double booking it, where they've been doing reshoots for Book of Boba Fett. They've been doing kind of some, I guess, test footage. I don't know the actual lingo for filming, whatever, but it's been test footage or some early footage, shooting for Mando season 3, so that when the full cast shows up, it's shoot game on, because they are very limited on their window of how much time they have with the cast. You
know what they're doing? They're spooling up. I'm guessing they're probably still utilizing mostly Unreal 4 for most volume work.
Yep.
Because 5, while you can get your developer hands on it, it's fairly new. All they're doing is they're there on the weekends playing video games, basically, with the volume. No, I'm serious.
For Mando, they are.
They're playing video games, and they're setting up. We want the mountains to be 50 meters back for this shot. They're setting up tracking.
It's basically
and
a giant Minecraft.
Yes, isn't that amazing? Isn't that insane?
And that's where I'll say that Lucasfilm does something better than maybe what Marvel does. What we saw with WandaVision, where they had to go back after the final episode, and then we see they kind of re-edited the final scene a little bit. It gave it a little bit more depth and more realism to the mountains and the trees, and some people now are going through and picking certain elements of look, it's different now in this episode.
I like that they're doing that. If you notice little things that weren't quite ready, especially because with the whole pandemic thing, they're just going back and fixing it and saying, look, we're just not going to announce this, we're just going to make it better, so it sits in the systems.
So with that, and kind of sticking with this whole technology conversation before we take our commercial break, I talked on Tech Tuesday on the Daily Cup of Genre, the Daily Cog. Watch, subscribe on YouTube, listen on the podcast channels, and then we were talking about how video game technology in the volume, specifically Unreal Engine, and how did either of you watch the Ready Player One extras or any of the how it was made? The volume, Cam, like legit,
it's really cool. It's one of the best.
The Blu-ray
extras.
is worth the extras alone, straight up. Like and that's rare to say.
I have the Blu-ray.
Dude, watch the extras, all of them. So Spielberg, to go into the Oasis, he had something very similar to the volume, but it was of course the big white motion capture room. But he could put on VR and walk around, and somebody's watching him in screen on a screen in the Oasis, and he's like, "Hey, I want this, pushed back. Can I get more lighting over here?" Now they can do all of that without the fucking visor and gloves and controls. And, it's amazing. All from games.
The director's getting, the director now has far more control, whereas, back when the prequels were made, for example, the director almost had to kind of just pass it over to the visual effects team, and then Lucas is basically just approving designs, then approving the final look, and there'll always be a point where you can keep working on it, but you have to just say, it's not going to get any better than that, stop there. Do you know what I mean? And now those limitations just aren't really there. You can have the benefits of CGI, but you can, as Spielberg did, go in and mess about with the shot in the way that you would light a real location. And that's the advantage of it.
So with that, let me ask you this: is it? There's some mistakes that they've gone and fixed. We saw the jeans guy from Mandalorian, and you mentioned stuff in WandaVision. We all can point exactly. We could hold our fingers up and go, now for the disappearing lightsaber in Episode 4. Should they fix that? Should they go back and fix the lightsaber effects?
I'm guessing that
4, 5, and 6. Should they
an agreement as part of the deal when they sold it to Lucas that they don't touch his original films? Is my guess.
Well, Lucas did enough touching with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but I think at that point he's like, that's my final vision, so I don't want you to touch that. Or else they would have surely changed it by now.
Well, I don't necessarily mean just that, but other movies that have a classic glitch or because it's almost part of the movie, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, what everyone thought was a cast member hanging themselves on Wizard of Oz is just some set piece that broke and was swinging, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not? Why haven't they gone in and removed that? Actually, I think they did in some things,
but
those types of things.
The charm of the film,
is it? That's what I'm asking.
That's
what I'm asking.
Is it? I mean, I think if they fix it so quickly as they do now, it doesn't have time to become a classic. But would you want them to go back now and, for example, fix the Stormtrooper bumping his head on the door in the original Star Wars?
Not.
No, you wouldn't, because it's part of the charm, or the fact that they, for years they lost some of the dialogue in the close the blast doors, close the blast doors, open the blast doors scene. And when they brought that back the way it was, it was like, that's it, back to the way it was again. It's much better now, so there is a lot of things that they did improve, but there's still a lot of things that are almost sacrosanct, if you like, that you wouldn't change.
And economically, it doesn't make sense to go back to every movie and do that, because it's expensive to go in and make those adjustments. I mean, you're paying,
a visual effects artist and editor. Do they need to get the films out and
and they did a study after it was when the original trilogy did their re-release with all, when Lucas added all the extra stuff, and they, for the amount of money that Lucas put into the re-releases and making it high def, adding the extra scenes to it and stuff, it was profitable, but not for a standard movie. It would have to be something on a Star Wars level.
Yeah,
could you go back?
Nowadays they can remaster old films easier.
Right, yeah.
But at the time he did it, it was far more expensive to do all that.
Oh yeah, but could you go back and do like the original Star Trek movie maybe, but how many people would go line up and go see it in theaters or purchase it on DVD?
Buy a new copy of
you
it.
mean you can already get the resolution. The problem is sometimes when you take these old films and you bump up the resolution to what we have now,
makes it
the
look
flaws
worse.
become slightly, they become more
Coloration
noticeable.
and everything is.
I'll tell you what.
And those are the times when you notice the films that are, let's say, just shot on location, for example, that really stand up well. Like if you look at Jaws now and you look past the bad special effects in the shark, that's another argument. That should never be changed now, right?
Nothing, never,
it is
ever.
What it is.
Don't touch the gosh damn shark.
The film is so gorgeous, even in Blu-ray. I haven't even seen the 4K yet because the Blu-ray, when it's upscaled to 4K, is literally like you were back there in the beach in 1975. Do you know what I mean? And that's film for you, because film never really loses that. But the more special effects you add on top of it, that's those are the films that suffer most and need the most work.
That's because of digital effects they're rendered at the resolutions that they're created at. There's only so much you can do about that. That's why like HD remasters, all they kind of look like is like a new skin, right? That's it. Okay. And that's why the prequel trilogy looks so bad, because you cannot actually get a true 4K image out of episodes 2 or 3, because
it's amazing
they're all
that now sometimes
digital.
the old trilogy looks better than the prequels up to that point, because the models and things that they used actually hold up better. Yeah, you can see the lines sometimes that cuts the
the matte lighting and
you know, a lot of the, like you see the boxes you could see of ships. He fixed a lot of that back in the 90s. So none of that's quite as noticeable now anyway. So it benefits from having been remastered at a time before that technology was really there. I think.
And with film, you can take a picture with whatever resolution camera of your best cell of film, and it's going to be that resolution. I mean, now of course the better quality the film, the better quality the picture will be, but you can basically get a 1970s movie that looks better than The Matrix will when it's upscaled with its digital effects. Especially those sequels. So, anyways,
that's the point I was trying to make in a much more concise manner.
Exactly. So, let's go ahead and take a word from our sponsors over at Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Grow Generation is your one-stop shop for hydroponic grow supplies, product systems, and more. Grow Generation serves customers across the nation and carries a wide inventory of renowned cultivation brands. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
My cat is being mental at the moment.
Okay. Well, have fun with your mental cat. Guys, okay, we have to talk about it. We all know I'm excited. We all know Cam's not excited. I have to know what Shockey thinks. Shockey, what did you think of the Star Wars Visions trailer?
All right, so there was a time in my younger self that I was a big time anime fan, and it was a real weird time. Like you couldn't, you had to go to Blockbuster and go to a certain section to rent anime videos.
Only way to get it.
Or Sci-Fi Channel would do like, what was it, Saturday mornings at like 7 a.m. They would show one movie or whatever, and that was it. It kind of, it kind of reminded me. So there's some clips there that like of the 90s style anime that that I thoroughly enjoyed and stuff like that. But some of the newer model stuff that it's just the new anime style. I didn't really, it's newer times, newer fans on that. I'm interested. It's really something that I feel like it's going to connect some fans, like some straight anime fans, some, Star Wars fans that weren't really into anime. Like, I think it might kind of get that, like Cam, who's not really into anime. I think when he sees this, might say, all right, I got to check this out. I got to, maybe there's some other, I gotta check. I don't know.
I don't know. That's the part that puts me off, is the fact that it is anime, and I know it's not connected, so they can just do whatever they want. And I struggle to understand what's going on in the screen half the time I watch an anime anyway, so that
Is
just
it the
doesn't fill me with
movement?
confidence.
Like legit question. Is it the
movement,
aesthetics
and
and stuff?
strange
Yeah.
colours and the way it freezes and you know everything gets, you know.
They kind of have the flashing lines while they're just talking, and so I can.
Yeah.
I just lose my attention completely, and the stories are told in such a way that they're told more visually than they are auditory. You know, you wouldn't sit and write down a story and then make an anime out of it. You would write it as an anime because you would use the visuals to tell the story. And you know, it's just a medium that I struggle to get my head around. I just have to be honest.
I think it's for me, I'll enjoy it. Kind of like what was it, Gotham Knight that came out for the Batman? Like in between
Gotham by Gaslight or something, the Victorian one, or are you talking the Sam?
No.
Sam
There was like
it was actually
Ninja?
supposed to be Christian Bale, and it was part of his went back to some of his training and also something that he was doing. It was
like
set
6
after Batman
stories.
Begins.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was 6 stories. Like it's similar to Visions. It was 6 stories, each one done by a different artist. You know, different visual, you know, type of Batman and everything, and they had all their own and different styles and everything. It's kind of like that. And then what was it, Animatrix that came out?
Yep.
Like I enjoyed them. I didn't like. So I enjoyed Animatrix, and I enjoyed what was it, Gotham Knight, and
I like 2 of the Animatrix. I think.
And that's why I think I'm gonna
ones.
like this. Like I think there's gonna be a 1 or 2 that I really love, and then the other
That's
ones
what I
are
think
like,
as well.
you
Yeah.
know?
That's why my original plan was kind of like wait till people are raving about one and maybe watch that one rather than sit and watch it every week when it's on. But Kyle seems to have other ideas about that.
Yeah.
See, like the pod racing one, that's the one that kind of interests me if they really do like the pod racing episode, like full out. And
This
stuff.
right here, the twins. So this is, I'm gonna weave out here, guys. This is a story of Dark Side twins, okay, and it's done by Studio Trigger. And Trigger did the SSSS Gridman and Dynazenon series, which I am obsessed with this year, ever since of discovering them earlier this year. This I understand what the artwork you were talking about, Shockey, that this isn't quite your cup of tea.
Correct.
This is Trigger. I love it. Like this, like it's like that, guys. Like,
Did you? So, Kyle, you know the fan made one anime that came out,
The TIE Fighter, yes.
the TIE Fighter one,
yes,
and stuff like that. That's my style. Like to me, that's like
I love it too. Like this type right here, where you're looking at it's not. I got the designs are different, but like an Inuyasha style action scene right here. You've got the God, that just looks so beautiful.
Oh, I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
You've got this almost Ghibli style anime with the rabbit character, which I don't know if they on purpose, if it's a throwback to Jackson from the old Marvel comics, the green space rabbit.
Oh, the rabbit.
Yeah.
I remember him.
I don't.
Jesus, that's going back.
I know.
Now,
Oh, look at that! I'm sorry. I know. I'm a weeb. It happens. The other one that I really like is the manga looking one. This right here. The line work, the use of light.
That's like the Animatrix and stuff.
Shadow, and I love this. So, Mike, we've kind of been talking about it. You've mentioned you're interested. So, my idea, guys, while we're here, we can brainstorm with everyone, is AVR, Animeversal Reviews, of course, wants to cover this, and we haven't really done a animated reviews with the Cantina. We've only done live action stuff, so it'll be nice to do kind of a collab here. Since Cam's not the biggest anime fan, I kind of thought, what if we just get him to watch it?
Make me watch it.
Just make him watch it. But he doesn't have to do a full review. He'll do like I'm kind of calling it like the corner booth Cam's corner booth, he'll just say a surface thing. Hey, this story was interesting. This artwork was trash or was nice, and we'll put that in with it. Would you be interested in being the second Cantina leg of AVR doing Visions?
I'll do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Listen, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, Star Wars, anything Star Wars, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna give it a shot. So
see, I wasn't sure with this one for the first time. This was the first one where I was like, well, it's not canon.
Listen,
So
I watched
I don't
Star
have
Wars
to watch
Resistance,
it.
so I'll watch that.
I tried.
I sat through it all.
I've tried them all.
No,
I really have, guys.
no.
I've
Even the
tried them all.
Ewoks cartoon back in the
I
late
mean,
80s.
I
yeah.
loved that. But then I was a kid at the time, you know.
Yeah,
I actually watched an episode of that because it's on Disney Plus, or at least it is in the UK.
Mhm.
And it's just so bad.
It's bad. It's really bad. That was a straight marketing campaign to just sell toys.
That and the Ewok movies. Oh.
I wonder what the
Anyway.
new Droids cartoon will end up being like. I wonder if it's going to be Filoni. Will it be more like the old droids? Will it be geared towards us,
they
like a
would want to make
DuckTales?
it canon, wouldn't they? They wouldn't.
I think you'll get like a BB-8 adventure, a C-3PO adventure.
I would
anthology.
rather they didn't do that. I would rather that they just gave us some new droids and
I think
told
you
us
get new droids
their
as well,
story
but
through these new droids, and it's just it's the story. It's like kind of Lucas's original vision for Star Wars: make the droids the main character, but done across an entire series where the droids are the main characters. I think that could work.
have you guys ever seen that fan documentary? I don't know if it's still even on YouTube anymore, where the guy did a documentary of all the R2 units on the Naboo starfighter from episode 1 that got shot off and everything.
That's awesome.
Did like a recap of their lives or whatever. There's like 6 of them and 5. R2's one of them, and 5 out of the 6 get shot off or whatever.
Oh wow!
Like a in post memoriam, type thing. It was hilarious.
What happened to Star Wars fan films? That used to not just be
Lucasfilm.
a thing. Yeah, that's true.
That's what it is.
They
So
don't
when
like
Star
it.
Wars Theory did his Vader episode 1 or whatever, like he posted it and got mad, great reviews. Everybody loved it, and Lucasfilm shut it down. And so
I
he had to make an agreement that he wouldn't make any money on it. He lost close to $1 million on that.
But I mean, if you're going to use their license, though, you're not going to make money off it.
And
if you're going to do it, you have to do it.
But
for
also,
love,
too, even people
because
that
they will
aren't-
never let you make money off it.
But Lucasfilm is very protective of their content. So
Yeah.
if you make fun of it or you do anything that they don't feel like is right, they have every right to shut you down and stuff.
And
So
that's I can't because guys, Troops was
Well,
great.
unless it's just talking like we do, they can't shut us down.
oh well, yeah, that's what. But like
They can
so-
still make your life hell.
the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of
Yeah,
Heroes,
makes sense.
when it first came out, they had how EA has those game changers where they have players post YouTube videos playing the game and promoting it and stuff. The game changers went on YouTube, and it was like at around a time where like the game was 2 years old and there wasn't really a lot going on, so they decided make fun of like memes, Star Wars and stuff like that, and Lucasfilm got really pissed and told EA to shut them down and everything, and they got shut. The game changer position got shut down because a couple of them did like YouTube meme videos like on their own, like nothing to do with it, but because they were somehow tied with a video game that was tied
and they
to Star
had
Wars.
that big exclusive contract, which they don't have anymore. And they're still making Star Wars games, but it's not an exclusive contract anymore.
I mean, it's kind of you kind of start wondering why. And in all honesty, people could say, "Oh, they don't want you to damage their image." That's garbage because everyone loves Troops. Everyone loved the Robot Chicken. Star Wars.
Well, even the
specials.
fan, like the Darth Maul fan film that's on YouTube or whatever.
Where he's like Jay from Mallrats and.
No, the one where it's
That
like
one's funny.
Yeah, it's funny, but there's like a serious one too, where it's like a group of Jedi are hunting Maul, and he tears through all like 5 of them and stuff. But that creator, he had to fight tooth and nail to get that to stay online because YouTube took it down because of copyright, infringement and stuff. So,
do you remember the Rob versus Dorkman lightsaber duels? You guys want to talk about for people that may not have ever seen them, this this guy was some good like choreography. This was very episode 1 style, where they're doing some spins and stuff like that, but they have some brawler moments, man, where they're just pounding at each other, and they did seem to try to put more effort into giving a spin a purpose. Of course, it's much slower. They're not professional fighters, but this is fairly inexpensive to do, and where are the people doing it? They did it essentially for free. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were actually in film school. It may have been part of that, if I remember my lore from back in the early 2000s. But I don't know, man. Has Disney really been that toxic to creators?
It's not necessarily toxic. It's just they're very well, in Lucasfilm prior to Disney buying them, been very protective of the Star Wars franchise. And I don't think it's necessarily just to be assholes about it or whatever, but it more or less is like what they don't want to have happen
control
is they let a couple things go, and then all of a sudden there's some really bad stuff out there, and and then it gets pretty much like shut down or whatever. And stuff.
But what happens with people that produce their own content? They're not selling it, and they have like a Jace, for example. Jace has his Comic Source website. That's his website. He produces a fan thing and hosts it on his server for his site, not making money. What really can they do besides maybe try to pressure his advertisers?
They have the rights to. You got to realize they have trademark rights to almost. Like Lucasfilm has trademark rights.
I know, but there's a lot of fair use where the right person that's just willing to be stubborn could push them down enough.
Correct, but you have to have a lot of money and good lawyers to go to battle. That's the problem. Is that it's not the fact that like there's fair use and you can use it, but when Lucasfilm comes out or Disney comes at you with trademark infringement and you got to fight it in court, that's legal fees.
There's music and effects and all of that right here on YouTube. I'm sure it's not monetized. It's been up since 2008.
You're not looking at what if the fan-made stuff ends up being more loved by the fans.
That's what I was going to go at. That's what I was going to start talking about.
Disney, like, why can you not deliver this when this fan can do this in a shoestring budget? That's
do you
not
think
really
that's
good to have either.
Do you think that because I honestly believe, and especially because of Star Wars Theory's film, I believe that's the root of it. I don't think it has jack to do with protect. I think it's two things. One, ideas. They don't want any possible idea to be done by someone else where they would then have to potentially pay you for it. Yeah. And then number two, they don't want, just like the EU stuff that they've been so desperate to not release, that they're piecemealing it, and only for certain projects. And we'll talk about the alleged Mount Tantus stuff in a second, but that's the root of it, man. They don't want you to get their idea, and that's it.
Well, they don't want fans to be confused with what's real Star Wars and what's fan-made Star Wars. So
they
do a good job of confusing us on what's canon and what's not on their own.
We've just come up with several cons, 4 or 5 different cons for Disney to do it. Yeah. And the only positive is us, the fans. It doesn't help Disney in any way whatsoever. Well, so we all
not necessarily does it not help them. Everyone knows that companies that do goodwill things boosts that company. I mean, look at when Nintendo. Look at what happened overnight for them because of how loyal their fans are. When Nintendo did relent on Let's Play and YouTubers and created the very shitty compromise, people still flooded back to them. other companies don't get that. Like when Microsoft fucks up, PC users will be like, okay, Microsoft, you ready? Let's do this. And they have to rely solely on their enterprise market to hold them down until their commercial side gets shit right again. But Nintendo people were like, okay, yeah, we'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So Disney, it's kind of like, could you? Maybe.
But with Disney, it goes back to if you guys remember in the early 90s in the United States, in late 80s, early 90s, a lot of childcare services were putting Mickey Mouse and all the characters on the outside of their buildings to make it seem like they were, Disney related, affiliated. And Disney went to town because what happened was there was a couple, not all of them, but a couple childcare services that were horrible. They're bad people. They were taking, and so parents were like, they were confused, like, oh, but I thought this was you and I have common sense. And so what happened? Disney went to town and they went all across the country, and that
just wouldn't happen in the UK, would it? Because nobody would believe it really was Disney.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, anyone with common sense would know that a hand-drawn Mickey Mouse outside of a building, is not really a Disney affiliated. Like, there's not a Disney affiliated childcare service.
My daughter can draw Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But they got sued, and I believe it was in '89 or '90. By a couple parents and stuff. And so after that, Disney went to town. And if you have a nursing or childcare, pre-K, and you have Mickey Mouse on the side, and Disney finds out about it, you will be taken to court. It's kind of like William Shatner. I don't know if you follow his Twitter account, but he went after some crypto company because they used his a picture of him and a quote he said on Twitter and posted on Twitter, trying to promote cryptocurrency, but made it spin it like he was promoting that company. And Shatner saw it, and he went straight after him and said, if you take this down, and you need to contact me, or And so I think Disney and Lucasfilm, they err on the ultra side of caution when it comes to fan-made films and stuff. They don't want anybody confusing and like, oh, is this real Star Wars or not? So they just go after everyone.
Jealousy and ideas.
Yeah.
Disney has always been pretty much like this as well. I mean, if you go right back to the early days, there was a lot of people tried to copy what Disney did.
Oh yeah,
and they're down on that.
They're the ones that,
and that's what's they'll feel by doing that in the past. This has worked for us. So Star Wars is under our wing now. It falls under our restrictions. And we're going to keep, this internet thing. There's so much people can do. Let's just clamp down on it, and they can always
kind of like Marvel too.
Release the lever as they go along if they want. If they think, okay, we can relax this a little bit now. But the best thing to do initially is shut it all down and get it under control.
Yep. Yeah. Marvel was the same way. Before they got bought out by Disney, there was all these Spider-Man made films and stuff and everything, and now it's kind of gone away.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, on the business side of things, you guys know I'm a filthy laissez-faire type capitalist pig, but I do believe in good form. I do believe that you can be filthy, stinking rich in a good way. So, I do kind of miss those, and I really seeing Howard the Duck on What If this week.
Oh yeah.
Made me miss the Robot Chicken, Star Wars Robot Chicken stuff, and oh my God, how great would it be for him to do more on the sequel trilogy? And I was like, oh wait, Disney will never ever.
It's like Star Wars detours.
Ever let it happen.
Yep. There's that hope that Star Wars detours will get released at some point in time, but
I'm surprised that the Star Wars specials are on HBO Max for Robot Chicken. I am. They are though. I love those things.
Yeah.
Anyways, Shockey, any other little tidbits or anything else we're keeping our eyes on, or Cam? Is there anything else you had up your sleeve?
The only other thing, what was that? I've actually forgotten now what I was going to mention. I think you were going to go into it anyway, Kyle, was just, there was some interesting stuff that came out after the finale of The Bad Batch.
Oh, yeah, the Mount Tanta stuff.
It's happened.
Yeah. So, something that I mentioned just a few minutes ago about them using EU stuff. We know that the Legends Essential Collection, I think is the title of it, released, Heir to the Empire, new covers, new format using the trade paperback format, which is like your guys' trade comic book. So it's bigger than paperback, but different than hardcover. And I've been pointing out, hey, they had Luke's hand in a vat in a comic book. That's kind of similar to, the Heir to the Empire and the Dark Empire stuff, and apparently, and I went and watched the final episode of Bad Batch. I'm not gonna lie, the action stuff was kind of cool, and I dug the music. I can't stand the Omega voice actor. I don't know who they are. Now that's just off of one. Besides the first episode, which I couldn't get into either.
First episode, and then I've kind of warmed to her as time's gone on.
Yeah, so I didn't care for her in the first episode.
You don't like when she goes,
Hunter, care for this.
Hunter,
No.
Hunter. Where are we going, Hunter?
But I did think the action stuff was done well, and I did like the musical choices. That being said, the final shot is this mountain on a foresty, almost Eastern European continent type looking planet, and a lot of people are pointing to some art piece or concept art that says the word Tantus circulating online. Yeah. Mike, help me out here.
Well.
Or Cam?
Go for it, Cam.
So basically the sort of showrunners of the show, the exec producers of the Bad Batch were then asked about, and this is the first clue to it, they were asked, so Nala Se goes somewhere at the end. The uniform that the person's wearing that comes out to meet Nala Se is the same as Dr. Pershing wears in The Mandalorian. So there's a connection right there. And they basically say this is where your new work's going to be, kind of thing. And they had asked them about it and said, is this leading up to the whole Palpatine cloning Snoke thing? And, they obviously denied it, refused to talk about it. But by the way they answered, it was almost like, yeah, you've got us, but we can't really talk about that, confirm it at the moment. We're only in season 1, so give us a chance here and stop asking us these horrible questions. Thanks very much. And that was in StarWars.com, so that wasn't some other, trade that's been pressuring them or anything. So that was pretty interesting. And then we have that there was artwork that said Tantus on it, different spelling, but then we relate that back, and this is where we maybe jump back to you, Kyle, because you probably have the best knowledge in this. Where does that have a connection to the Legends material?
Wayland, the planet Wayland, and then there's also the planet Merkur. That was also a big deal in that series.
Apparently, I think the artwork said Wayland on it or something as well, but it was spelt differently. It was spelled W-E-Y-L-A-N
versus A-Y
instead of A-Y. Yeah, and it was just like that, slight differences, but considering that they're building up to Thrawn and all that sort of stuff, people are kind of now putting the clues together.
Some dots that
I all connected. Yeah.
This reminds me, and Shockey, you're a teacher. I know you're social studies, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so you get a slight pass here, but I connected these two dots a while ago. I know I'm not the only one, but it reminds me of when I did algebra. I could do so much of it in my head, and some asshole teacher, show your work. Did I have a calculator in my hand? No. Then why do I need to show my work? I obviously did it. Why do you need to see how I got the answer right? Just saying, guys, just look. I got like a 95% hit rate.
That's not how the education system works. No,
It doesn't matter.
Sorry.
It's stupid. Show your. I could see if I had access
they need
to
you
a calculator.
To be able to, what if your skills fail you in the future and you think, oh my God, I'm in a nuclear accident here. I need to be able to do calculus. My usual skills have failed me where I could just do calculus in my head because I'm a savant.
I'll say
if I only knew the method to do it.
My my 17 years of engineering experience in the United States Army, I never once, outside of a school situation, didn't have this to pull out the calculator or the Excel spreadsheet with the bridge weight equations.
What if during your military battles you were pulled back in time to like 1936, like the Philadelphia experiment or something like that, and then after a while the batteries run out on the calculators and you're like an engineer, you need to work shit out and doing maths. You'd have to reteach yourself.
I would have methods. I can actually.
You'd have to send you to 1930s school.
I can look at, and I've got all the formulas. No joke. I can go take the materials of a bridge and certain measurements and tell you what weight it can bear and what equipment can cross
That'll
it.
That'll be good because there's a war coming up.
How much time? So yeah,
it's a kind of big one.
Yeah, you know. So yeah, I mean, I get it, but yeah, I couldn't stand that. So it's cool to see it. It's. I don't know if I'm happy for them to change the name and kind of preserve the EU, or if I'm like, oh, you guys are just chicken shit. You want to. You want your cake and eat it too. Like, I don't know how to feel.
But, right, let me put it this way, right? What do Marvel, what does an MCU do? Does it copy the comic books
a lot.
Exactly?
No,
it uses them as a resource. And they say, let's take a little bit of this and let's take a little bit of that.
Exactly what they're doing.
And we put it together. And that's what Star Wars is doing now with the Legends stuff. They're saying, it's here, let's use it, but not necessarily the way it was. Let's make it work for us.
But Marvel always did that, and they're just now deciding.
This is a new world. Yeah, this is Star Wars now.
Yeah, anyways, I guess we could wrap it up then. So we might see the Heir to the Empire trilogy play out. We've definitely seen some things like that. We might see some
in an alt universe type of way.
In an alternate universe type way, if you will. We've also seen some dark Empire with Rise of Skywalker. So
listen, the way that the end of the season kind of set itself up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Crosshair teaming up or working for Grand Admiral Thrawn. Like I could see Thrawn being introduced, like a young Thrawn introduced. In season 2 of Bad Batch, and kind of seeing him rise in the ranks, and Crosshair kind of, because it's almost like the way that, like, going back and watching Crosshair and really that last episode where you get to really understand Crosshair not being just a clone, but really thinking that he's almost identical to the mindset of how Thrawn, is in that aspect of, being so loyal or devoted to the Empire, believing in that root cause of it. So there's a lot.
Thing, because his chip's been removed. They did confirm that as well.
So yeah, it's so like lying, for a long time it was like, oh, he's just a clone that his inhibitor chip is just controlling him and stuff. But when we find out that his chip was gone a while ago or whatever, and that this is who he is, this almost is kind of like he's gonna team up with someone that almost is identical into his thought process. So I could see season 2, we see Thrawn and Crosshair kind of.
It would be interesting to see a young Thrawn show up in the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Now, listen, it's setting up. Like, there's, I don't want to give away too much right now and stuff because I'm still figuring out. But what it's seeming like is that there's a lot of stuff in Bad Batch that we're gonna see tied into the Mandoverse and stuff. So
now, with that whole Thrawn thing, I know they're doing a prequel trilogy of books. I think the third one did drop not too long ago. I've got the first one. I haven't started it yet, but I plan to here soon. So that there's definitely some room to play with. Thrawn's out in the unknown regions for quite a while.
Thrawn. That 100% there.
Yeah. Like I said, the only reason why it's a little different, because like I said, Marvel's always done the twisting, changing amalgamations between Ultimate and 616. Disney were like, fuck the EU. Like they were just there was no, hey, thank you. They were straight up gone. Fuck it, forget it. ignore it. Don't think about it. We're not going to support it. We're slapping this Legends thing against the title so that way you guys don't read it. Like, they treated it like crap. So, like I said, part of me is like, hey, they learned their lesson. And then part of me is like,
that was I think that just dealt with royalty checks. That Lucasfilm, prior to Disney buying it, was handing out a lot of royalty checks, and Disney will make a penny any which way they can. And so if they feel like, hey, these guys are basically getting away with what they feel is,
they didn't know if they could make as much worth
right.
it. And again, that whole idea, like Cam said, what if it takes away sales of our original stuff, which they do, they will.
That's the
and
business
they will
of it, unfortunately.
And guess what? Cry about it. How about try writing things that more people enjoy instead of just
I mean, the
small
other
niches.
aspect of it is they thought they didn't need it. They thought they were going to create their own whole new universe. And that this is definitely this more adoption of some of that Legends stuff.
Oh yeah,
is definitely post the Rise of Skywalker. You feel that's happened, post the reaction to Solo, everything like that. That kind of where the fans weren't happy. So that's all we can do at the moment is let's see what happens.
Well, I don't remember if it was Kennedy or someone else, but when they uttered the phrase, "We don't have source material," everyone
Kennedy,
everyone was like, technically, yeah, but also technically, no. But
they're using it. That's the thing. They are using it.
And don't get me wrong. Overall,
even
heart of hearts, I'm happy. I always want Star Wars to be good. Like, guys, even the stuff that I don't know. I'm a comic book fan. I've been ignoring this arc and keeping this one as gospel, while this one's okay on every third year. And Star Wars is now the same. I've got enough that I could be like, ooh, this canon stuff that's not OT, but Disney, Rogue One is great, but this comic arc from Dark Horse is good. I'm happy to give everything a shot. I just hope that they don't. I hope they really have learned a lesson that to shut out the old is not smart bit business.
It was a bad business move at the beginning. They thought to that defense, if we didn't have any source material, they were trying to create their own new Star Wars universe, and it didn't work. And they admitted to it, and they've gone back and they said, all right, let's go and redo, or let's go and tap into the things that people love and stuff. And it's kind of like Galaxy's Edge at Disney World and Disneyland. Galaxy's Edge is Star Wars to a sense, but at the same time, it's still sequel trilogy stuff that it to some fans they don't connect to it. Besides seeing the Millennium Falcon and maybe building your own lightsaber, like seeing Rey or Kylo Ren walk around, the other things that go along with it. That's been the kind of the downside and the complaints about Galaxy's Edge at Disney World is that there's some people feel like it doesn't have that Star Wars vibe to it. So, but in the TVs and movies, they readjusted. They said, all right, we're gonna, Mandoverse. They're connecting it to the Clone Wars and stuff. They're bringing Kenobi, back. Rogue Squadron. We'll see how much that connects into the books. And I think they're in that time period, and now the next wave of films after Rogue Squadron, whether it's the Acolyte or something, it's because even look at High Republic. High Republic wasn't it had a good initial wave of fans to it, but it's kind of died itself out. There's not a strong fan base to the High Republic that they were hoping to get out of it. So they got to tap into the things that work. So Thrawn worked, Rogue Squadron works. Go to that stuff.
Yep. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. LRMonline.com every day for all I'll get through it. I promise.
No, you're good.
All of your entertainment news, needs, and opinions, guys. We have our awesome YouTube channel filled with all these great videos, like the Daily Cog, the Cantina, Marvel Multiverse Mayhem are all video now. Anime Versal Midnight Run has been on hiatus due to COVID in the House of Malone. My son and I beat it without knowing we had it. Christine decided to get her telltale symptoms like 4 days into infection. She is recovering, and we will have a regular Anime Versal reviews up next week, and Midnight Run will hopefully be back with naughty puppets in all the 4K glory. Yes, I'm going to try to render the puppets in 4K, guys. This is the things I do for you. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course, all our podcasts are available in audio format on every app you can imagine: Spotify, SoundCloud, Google, Apple, and we also have a shit ton of interviews on the YouTube channel. So check it all out. Cam, you got anything you want to throw in?
Nope.
Shockey?
Tottenham won against Man City, so kiss my ass to all those people that are making fun of Tottenham.
Yeah, it won't last long.
It doesn't matter. 1-0, I'll take it.
In fact,
October,
wait a minute, would they not get beat tonight by basically a set of part-timers in the
sorry.
European Conference League?
Did Newcastle
May the force
win
be
their
with you guys.